Hi guys.
Hi everybody. Wow.
Sorry.
I don't think I've ever seen such an awkward and embarrassing briefing. A Prime Minister so on the hot coals with nothing to back up what he was saying.
No.
Mark was editing the No Name Sunday show, so I was sort of calling things through to him.
Yeah.
He 100% backed him.
Right.
He said that he acted responsibly and with the instinct of a father.
But that's...
He didn't answer the questions. What do you think, guys? He just didn't answer the questions. I've got a really good...
Can I just say, one of the cheapest tacks I thought they could have approached this with was doing what any father would do.
So Dominic Cummings could flout it up, don't you?
Maybe.
And let's not forget, he has also admitted that he didn't use the childcare when he got there.
He didn't use the childcare?
No, because he didn't need to.
You're joking?
No. These
are
just some tweets that I've had to be with my mum at the funeral.
Oh my God.
You know, people are raging.
Yeah, people aren't going to funerals. People aren't...
Right. Johnson. Dominic Cummings went to find the right kind of childcare, inverted commas, when he and his wife were about to be incapacitated and had no alternative. This is what Boris said. One, you said family just provided food, not childcare. That's the rules. Those are the rules of lockdown. Two, not incapacitated because
of one.
Because of one. Three, food delivery services and family near their London home. It's ridiculous.
Hang on a minute. Come on, look, let's not beat around the bush.
This is unbelievable.
This is a prep school kid, Boris Johnson, trying to make excuses for his best mate who's been found with his hand in the jam jar. Isn't it? This is the Bullingdon set. This is the posh boys.
Dr. David Nichol says no doctor on GMC register would agree with Boris Johnson's interpretation of the lockdown rules. None, not a single doctor would approve of his interpretation today of the lockdown rules, which is completely different from any other. Now listen,
naughty little Eton boys.
I wouldn't be as angry about this if it was just a person that hadn't made the rules. But they made the rules. They made the rules. They made the fucking rules. It's I really was sitting there completely gobsmacked.
But and there's some other things we can surmise from this. Clearly, Dominic Cummings has got so much shit on the Tories, they can't do anything to get rid of him. Boris is obviously so compromised with Cummings. It's like he cannot get rid of him for fear of what could come out. So that must be number one. Number two, it's the lamest excuse in the book, and it's the cheapest excuse in the book to use parental concern when people have lost people have watched their relatives die in rooms that they can't get to. I mean, this is an absolute joke.
Another tweet here. I'm fuming. All those men who missed their babies being born, all those elderly mums and dads dying alone with their kids crying at home, all those unattended funerals, all on the instruction of a government now defending a mate who chose to take his suspected COVID on a 260-mile road trip.
Where's the leader of the opposition?
Oh my God, this isn't...
I'm not interested in the Labour side of it, but we need someone to probe this.
This to me just makes me see again how out of touch Boris is. Does he really think that he's going to come out and say all of that, and then everyone's going to go, oh, okay then?
Just shut up. I think he genuinely thinks he's unattainable. I think maybe because he's survived COVID, he also thinks he's the Messiah. Maybe it hasn't humbled him. Maybe it's made him feel he's absolutely God's gift to everything. I mean, this is such bullshit. And what adds even more salt to the wounds is that Dominic Cummings is such a nasty fucker.
All right, Mark,
no, it's not rude, but it's true. He actively wants to aggravate people. So look at him getting into cars. Look at him dealing with people. He's nasty.
He's thrown a protective ring around Cummings. If only he'd done the same with care homes. Holly, I'm so annoyed. Poor Holly's been desperate to see her boyfriend. Desperate. I've never felt so disgusted to be from this country. Our government can pretend they care. They dismiss everyone else.
Struggles
to protect each other. Exactly.
And they haven't published the science because they've sat on the science, and they're doing this because they know the science, but they haven't allowed us the privilege to look at it.
The thing is, it's
If
probably
it is
not
safe,
that dangerous what he's done.
Yeah, it probably isn't.
But why is everybody else? I mean, I don't think probably what he did was dangerous. But the point is, if we're all locked in,
that's
why
the
is
point.
he not locked in?
That's the point. But it's also that incredibly superior, supercilious smarm of saying there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. It's an absolute. I mean, oh my God, it makes my skin crawl.
Come on, let's see what some of the other
Every
people are
time
thinking.
I move towards a more favourable, not favourable as in supportive, but a less hostile position towards Boris, he goes and does something like this. It's such a joke. And I tell you, the biggest problem for the country, the biggest problem, is that more than even under David Cameron, and it was bad enough then because I hated Cameron more than anyone, even more than under David Cameron, this is now a country of the haves and the have-nots. And they don't care how much they ram that contrast into our faces.
Paul Honeymoon, my instincts told me to travel to Scotland from Manchester when she was alone. I think he must be talking about his mum or something. But instead followed the rules. I haven't been this furious ever. This could cause a bloody revolution.
Well,
we are all furious. We are furious. The hypocrisy of it. These smarmy gits. Richard Osman here. You know Richard Osman from... What's the Quiz Show? We're being taken for absolute mugs. Our parents, our kids, our carers, our health workers, every one of us. It's such a sad day. Yeah. I don't think that's over dramatic.
Sander Gibb, damn cheek if you ask me, and I was just called anti-Boris for disagreeing, and I'm a Conservative. Same shit.
Listen, there are plenty of Conservatives saying the same thing. This isn't about where you stand in your politics. If the Labour Party was doing this, I would be just as enraged. It's a fucking disgrace.
Countless members of the Conservative Party cannot stand that man. They feel he's got far too much power. What's more worrying about all of this?
He did get sentimental, actually. This is quite a good one. Dr. Pam Spur. Boris Johnson is excusing Cummings' selfish, hypocritical behaviour with sentimental nonsense. All the rest of us have suffered all sorts of deprivations when it came to our loved ones, raging that Cummings isn't. This was a big mistake. You know what? He should have not come to the briefing.
Yeah, he should have.
Because he said it like, I've done this as a big favour. He did. That's why I thought I should come and talk to you today. Oh, did you? Oh, that's why you thought. Huh? That's why you thought, well, I tell you what, mate, you made the biggest mistake of your career. I don't think there'll be a single person that will buy that. And you know what? They weren't being allowed to do follow-up questions. He was cutting them off.
Was he?
Because one of the journalists said,
this is outrageous.
So, does this mean that any other parents that need to do this today, can they do this? Is this a change in lockdown?
Yeah.
Do you know what he said? What? The lockdown rules, the rules stay the same. He actually said that.
But I tell you what I'm struggling with. It's so patently obvious how they're just spinning this.
Well, it's embarrassing because it's making us all... They're really showing us that they think we're stupid.
They really are showing how stupid they think we are.
You are really stupid.
We are
Let's
really
just go
stupid.
out there. We'll just say to them, we'll do a bit of soppiness about... He was being a father.
But is the problem here that Dominic Cummings is actually the Prime Minister? Because it sounds like no one else is advising Boris. Boris must have a team of people coming in and saying, Boris, honestly, mate, go out there and defend this stupid twat. You're going to be fucked.
Can I just say one thing, guys, who have just joined us? I just want to read this once more. This is from a doctor who's tweeted, I became sick with COVID in March. My wife was also sick. We have 3 kids and stayed home to look after them because that was the rule. Back at work, I dressed in full PPE to look after the sick and dying. I didn't do all that so Dominic Cummings could flout the rules.
Can't wait to hear what Piers Morgan says tomorrow. Tina Davis, did you see Preston when he was asking a question? Boris basically cut him off. Then the picture of Preston came back on and Preston looked really pissed off.
Yeah, because he couldn't answer the follow-up. Because he asked a question, he didn't answer it, and then Preston couldn't do a follow-up question. Let's see what Piers is saying.
Oh, God, what a
Who's
load of
the UK Civil Service?
What a load of shit. Who's that?
UK Civil Service.
I don't know.
No, but it's just that Piers has gone, whoa, like that's incredible. They would
Never
say
seen
that.
Twitter so united. Journalists, pundits, politicians, celebrities, and the public all enraged by what they just heard. Everyone
Regardless
needs to go.
Of their political persuasion.
Yeah, and you're right, Xander. This is not about party political lines. I'm not interested in Keir Starmer stealing an advance for the Labour Party. I'm interested in everyone bouncing this shit back at Boris. If Boris had come out and said something, I tell you what he should have done. If he had to damage limitate and couldn't quite keep coming, you know, but you can't let go of Cummings. Say Cummings has got so much shit on Boris. Boris knows he'll go down like a fucking, you know, like a, what would you go down like?
Swearing.
What would you go down like though? When you,
Ton of bricks.
like a ton of bricks, whatever, down to the bottom of the sea. He should have come up with some nonsense, spinny nonsense about shifting his role, distancing him from him, and keeping him there. That would have been a more sort of, I'd have kind of understood the logic behind doing that. But the way he's just come out and he's just defended it. I mean, it's...
What is Preston's first name?
Robert Peston.
Robert Peston. I want to see what he's said about
Zoe
that.
Kiffin, I'm a civil servant. If I told lies like that at work, I'd be out the door.
Don't you think it's just extraordinary that he would just stand there and just...
What I can't understand is that Boris isn't aware that he's in the middle of this total maelstrom. He's at the heart of a hurricane. But he still sort of thinks he can
Robert Peston,
buffoonery his way out.
This is quoting Boris. I have had extensive conversations with Cummings. I do not mark him down. He has acted responsibly. Robert Peston says, okay, no investigation, no sanction. That's it. I think he's done himself the most damage.
Yeah, Leslie Gammon feels he can't come back from this.
I don't think he can.
Yeah. Holly, exactly, Nadia. Sorry, I can see Orange Jams, you're struggling with messaging. I think they're going fine here. It must be your handset. Holly, exactly, Nadia. They created fear, so we all followed their unsubstantiated rules, but clearly the risk isn't that high to most people if someone on the inside... Yeah, now this is the point that I was trying to make. You'll see it coming up in the Sunday show today. The point I was trying to make was that probably the reason they aren't publishing the science is that the science isn't saying it's particularly scary. They had to put their foot down on the gas because they didn't go into lockdown sooner. If they'd gone into lockdown sooner, we'd have been out of lockdown sooner, and we would have seen this disease for what it is, which is not pleasant, but not a pandemic on the level that we were led to believe. And I think the reason they're reluctant to publish the science is that the science isn't particularly compelling in a negative way. It's a bad disease and it gets people who are ill or already vulnerable. That's a fact. But in terms of the exact response, I think they're holding the information close to their chest, but this behaviour demonstrates that they're not too concerned about it. But
I think what it's done is it's opened the doors for people to just see their family.
Of course it has.
This is. I was reading an article. Oh God, he's my new Corona crush. Anders Björkl, the Swedish.
Got another one.
Yeah, I've got a new Corona crush, and he was saying to lose the trust of the public is the most dangerous thing, and you will not get it back. I think they've lost the trust. We don't trust what they're saying now.
But I
they
don't
know
understand why
something
someone
that
isn't
we
advised.
don't know. They know something that we don't know.
Why isn't Boris being advised about that? If Dominic Cummings is such a Svengali, even Dominic Cummings must know that this is a clusterfuck.
I just think there's so out of touch with what human beings actually, how we live our lives.
Or
I think they just think we're really bloody stupid and they can say anything to us.
But also Boris,
they're going to believe it.
I think Dominic Cummings genuinely believes he's given the Tories, and he has, the biggest lead in the House of Commons for however long.
Exactly.
I think they feel that they can run roughshod over everything. I just think they can. They're literally like the prep school kids, just going, head boy, yeah, come on, yeah, what'd you say? Come on, of course he's okay. He just went off to bloody Durham, you know what I mean? Yeah. What an arse. What a prized arse Johnson is. Oh my God. It's so... And as someone else just said there, I guarantee Dominic Cummings has got stuff on Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
And I guarantee that Dominic Cummings' memoirs are already the zeros at the end of his fee are going through the roof as we speak. Phenomenal.
Chloe Orwin, I really want to see my grandparents. One suffers from dementia and attacks my granddad, but when I'm there, my nan calms down. I want to go and help, but obviously I'm not allowed, which isn't fair. Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? How she's not allowed, but his best mate is allowed. I feel for you, Chloe. You must be sitting there absolutely raging. I mean, I always say that we are very lucky. My parents live next door. I cannot imagine what this must be like for people that don't have their parents next door. You must be just raging.
Look up J.K. Rowling. She's just tweeted something that just came up. Elaine Knight. I'm 65, never been political, but this shit is making my blood boil. I'm ready to rise up. I think a lot of people are going to feel this. I think this is going to activate a sort of class war of sorts, whether you're Tory, Labour, whatever. If you come from a grassroots, realistic, compassionate fucking world, you're going to view this as
J.K.
the
Rowling, writer of Harry Potter.
immoral, sort of one set of rules for us and a totally different set of rules for the other. I think it's shocking.
I can't remember a clearer demonstration of contempt for the people from a sitting Prime Minister. Johnson might as well have shambled into shot, given us all the finger and walked off again.
So true.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
You can bend the rules if you have particular childcare issues. That's what he said. Defence in Cummings' case that was preferring not to look after his own kid. Single parents have been on lockdown for weeks. Nurses have isolated from their own families to protect them.
Absolutely.
Watching Johnson, this is despicable. Parents all over this country have abided by the lockdown rules, even while ill themselves. Hundreds of thousands managed toddlers while shut up inside cramped accommodation purely for the common good, as the government told them to do
Outrageous
so.
Outrageous.
Outrageous.
Outrageous. Can we say it again? Unprecedented and outrageous.
Anyway, we thought we better have a quick chat with you because we knew that you'd all be going,
I'd love to meet Dominic Cummings on his bike, though. I'd love him to tell me to get out of the way. What a tosser. I feel like that guy on Gogglebox. What's the brother and sister, you know, the young one?
Oh, Gabrielle, yeah. It's the fact that you travelled to a second home and no one else can. One of the journalists said.
It's so spectacular.
So are you saying from today, for those people that are lucky enough to have a second home, they can travel to it to find alternative childcare? And he just wouldn't answer the question.
Do you know what? I genuinely thought when Theresa May was in power, I thought and I hoped for a sort of classless Tory. I miss her. I like Kenneth Clarke, Xander. I'm a big sort of Kenneth, the old-fashioned sort of conservative where there's a sort of there's humanity in there as well and a recognition of kind of people and that we have feelings and all that. I never thought we would see a more extreme demonstration of wealth versus and privilege versus sort of us slum civilians, slumming civilians. But this is it. It's like J.K. Rowling. He's literally come out and gone,
Holly, it's dismissive of everyone's situation. Mental health again gets ignored. There have been more suicides in the under 45 group than COVID deaths in people without prior conditions.
Yeah.
No mention. So let's just reiterate. You can have your cleaner in. So the posh guys can have their cleaners in. Yeah. You can have your nanny come in. All the things that most people don't have.
Yeah.
But you can't see your parents unless you're Boris's mate.
Unless you're Boris's mate. Well,
then you can.
Unless you're
and then
Boris's
Boris will come in front of the whole world, stand there and go, I was perfectly okay. He behaved absolutely admirably.
We just watched
they're also, let us not forget, saying that the police are lying. And the police have reiterated that they went to the house and they spoke to the family. And Boris has called the police liars.
It is now over to you, journalists and other politicians in Westminster, to pick this ball up and keep running with it. Do not let that twat get away with that.
Have a break from scaring the shit out of all of us with getting all the worst stories possible. And now dig into this. Yeah. Find out the truth.
Yeah. Anyway, guys.
Sunday
show's uploading and we'll see you later to see where we're at.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks for all your input. Bye.